Misses. Davis muscles above Myers Leonard to get the rebound and get the putback. Remember, he struggled with rebounding at some points in these playoffs. 14 boards in this one, including 8 off the offensive glass. 7 of 8, 15 points in the first quarter. Stayed hot in the second half, third quarter. Working on Leonard. When he starts feeling it and he gets the shooting touch, almost impossible to guard. Jay Crowder couldn't do anything with him. He's up to 9 of 10. And then only took 1 3-pointer, made it 10 of 11 at that point. Jimmy Butler will give it a try on the perimeter, takes him down into the paint. He's up to 11 of 12. Started 12 of 13, finished 15 of 20 for the game. 75% field goal percentage, second highest in an NBA Finals game in history. Trails only Shaquille O'Neal from a game in 2004. Wasn't just Davis, though. Here's Dave McMenamin.
LeBron James scored 33 and Anthony Davis scored 32 in the Lakers' win Friday, putting them up 2-0 in the finals over the Heat and bringing to mind the most dominant duo in team history, Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. It was the first time Lakers teammates scored 30-plus in the same finals game since Kobe and Shaq did it against the Nets in 2002. The question is, for comparison's sake, who is who? LeBron said in terms of power and size and speed, he's Shaq. In terms of elegance and shooting and the ability to play inside and outside, AD is Kobe. Davis flipped it. Quote, he's Kobe because he handles the ball, and I'm Shaq because I play in the post.
On the Heat side, Udonis Haslem is their inspirational figure. He's 40 years old, played 17 seasons with them, part of all 3 Heat titles. Hasn't played in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean he hasn't been a part of the run. He's there to try to light a fire under the Heat, did all he could during a timeout. You see the reaction from Dwayne Wade. For more, here's Malika Andrews.
During a timeout in the third quarter, I was sitting probably 30 feet away from Udonis Haslem when he delivered an impassioned speech to his teammates, imploring them to play harder, empty the tank. And Jimmy Butler said he actually thought that they responded to that. It was just a little bit too late. And he joked that maybe Udonis needs to, quote, cuss them out before the game even begins. But overall, Eric Spoelstra said he thought the, quote, competitive disposition of the Heat was better in Game 2 than it was in Game 1. He said, we don't give a bleep what anybody else thinks about us. What is it going to take to get over the hump? He said, whatever.
This has finished your junior year in high school, 2002. Kobe and Shaq both go for 30-plus against the Nets. Game 3, the finals. You, of course, were then drafted the next year. You and AD, it's the first time Lakers teammates have done that since then. Just wondered if you were, like, your thoughts on the Kobe-Shaq dynamic and kind of what it's like going through a game like today with AD, especially at a similar level of efficiency.
You know, obviously being in high school and watching the Kobe-Shaq duo, it was the most dominant duo that I have personally seen in my life from a basketball perspective. Hadn't seen, obviously, we knew the force that Shaq brought to the table, but the elegance and force that Kobe played with as well. They were very dominant in what they did on the floor, on both sides of the floor. So to be in a conversation with those two guys, myself and Anthony, or myself and AD, he's going to kill me. Myself and AD, it's just very humbling because, I mean, I know I grew up watching those guys. I grew up admiring Kobe, obviously, for, you know, kid coming straight out of high school. So, you know, admired that kid that was young and got the opportunity, and obviously the force that Shaq played with. So just very humbling, and we're happy that we can be even mentioned with those greats.
LeBron, both AD and Frank kind of indicated that they, even though it's a win, they weren't totally happy with how things went today, defensively, especially. Frank had mentioned. Do you agree with that? And if so, what concerns you about?
No, I definitely agree. And myself, coach, and AD was not happy with our defensive presence tonight. We know we can be a lot better, and we're just from. You know, myself and AD, we're not satisfied, and with, you know, just a win. We want to be great. We want to be great. You know, as close to 48 minutes as possible. And I know I said it after Game 1, but I'm extremely excited to watch the film tomorrow as well as a group. and see ways we can be better. We're playing against a very dangerous team in Miami where, they have 5 guys on the floor that's a threat, as they've shown tonight. So we have to continue to stay on our P's and Q's and cross our T's and dot our I's throughout the course of the game, and just, if we have a breakdown, being able to cover for one another. But they do a great job of putting your defense in positions that you may not be accustomed to. So we definitely was not happy with our performance defensively tonight, and hopefully we can be we know, not hopefully, we know we'll be better in Game 3.
Allison.
LeBron, if you indulge me on the Kobe-Shaq line of questioning, obviously Shaq, big post presence, a 5 as much as a 5 can be, Kobe perimeter and all that. You and AD seem to have elements, maybe a bit of both of their games. I don't know if you would agree with that, but if you do, could you describe how maybe both of you are a bit of a hybrid of what those guys brought to the court?
Well, I guess if you look at the sense of the size and the power and the speed that Shaq at his size played with, you could look at my game throughout the course of my career and say that. And then you look at the elegance and the ability to shoot the ball and the ability to play in the paint as well, post up, get into the perimeter. I guess you can say that you can have some of AD's game that can compare to Kobe's game in that sense. Obviously, we're all 4 of us, we're all different positions. Kobe was a natural 2 guard. I'm kind of whatever position. Shaq is a center, and AD is kind of a hybrid as well. So, but I guess all 4 of us, we have a winning mentality, and we just try to make enough plays out on the floor throughout the course of the game that would benefit not only ourselves individually, but for the most important thing, for the better of the team. And I can't even believe that we, up here talking about myself and AD with Kobe and Shaq. I mean, it's an incredible thing.
In the third quarter, you guys had an 18-point lead, and pretty close to that point, the Heat had timeout, and UD was talking to the guys and really fired up. And at that point, it seemed like there was maybe a turn in momentum, and they started attacking aggressively. What do you know about UD that makes him impactful to a bench of players like that, even though he himself is not playing in the game?
Just check his resume. It's that simple. I mean, he's put in the work. He's been there. He's been through everything that the Heat franchise have seen. He's seen it all. He's done it all. I mean, just check his resume. So, and he's it's not many guys that talk about it and also be about it. He's one of them. And if you want to be in a foxhole, that's somebody you want to be in a foxhole with.
Dan?
LeBron, you used the word force probably 6 or 7 times in the first 2 answers today. How important has your team's ability to play with force made a difference in these first 2 games?
Well, I think I was talking about force because Shaq's name came up, and there's no way that you can talk about Shaq and not that word come up. From a team's perspective, I think we've done a good job of, one, not turning the ball over, but also still being able to play with force, as you would say, play with tempo offensively, get good looks, get looks that we like, make or miss, and live with the results. Now, we have to play with that type of force defensively, but also from a cerebral side as well, from thinking the game a little bit better as they're going through their offense and their pace and their force as well. So we got to be a lot better, obviously, on that side.
We'll send it back to Will for a couple.
All right, y'all take a couple more. Andy Kamenetsky.
Hey, LeBron. When you guys advanced past Denver, Frank was talking about the relationship he has with you, and he said that the buy-in that you had with him as a coach and the immediacy of that buy-in did a lot for this team and where you are right now. What was it about Frank that gave you that immediate buy-in and that you gravitated towards quickly?
For one, from a competitive standpoint, going against Frank's teams in Indiana when we had our battles when I was in Miami, you understood how well those teams were coached, and it starts, with the head coach, and the players are an extension of the head coach. So I had that memory of that, just battling those Indiana Pacer teams. And for me, I've always been a coachable player throughout my whole life. I've played for multiple coaches, and I've always been a coachable player. So, the respect, more importantly, he's the head coach, and the head coach should have the respect from all his players, no matter who you are, if you're really serious about trying to make an impact or really trying to do something special. So, it was just that simple for me personally.
Allison, back to you.
All right, thanks, LeBron.
Appreciate it.
We were going to go to break, but
And on site if that works.
okay, then we will start off with Dave McMenamin.
LeBron, you guys went on, I think, a 75-30 run after falling down 13 early. What allows you guys to have success like that over a sustained period of time, a run like that?
Paying attention to detail. I'm physical enough, and you have to get a feel for how hard Miami plays. And I think they smacked us in the mouth, and we got a sense of that, and so we knew how hard we had to play if we wanted to try to make it a game. And from that moment when it was 23-10, we started to play to our capabilities. We started flying around. We started getting defensive stops in. We started sharing the ball a lot better offensively, and just got into a really good groove.
All right, Kyle Goon.
For AD, thank you. For AD, obviously his first finals game, what'd you see about his preparation? Was there any advice you gave him, and to see him perform like that, what do you feel about that?
I don't feel anything. I expected out of him. Didn't need to give him no advice. We've been preparing for this moment all season. He's been preparing for this moment all season. And I'm happy to be on the same floor with him in the same uniform. And he was, once again, a force every facet of the game, both offensively and defensively.
All right, Dan.
LeBron, you've felt the buzz of the NBA Finals 9 times in your career. What was it like today with nobody there, the sound? I mean, I know you're used to bubble basketball at this point, but on this stage, what did it feel like to play a finals game?
It felt great. I've been preparing.